And now we go to Purdue University, the only place in the state where people with disabilities can learn how to fly. It's opportunity many of these students never thought possible. The students spend time in the classroom and using a virtual simulator before they're introduced to the open skies. Sophia Salabi has the story.
The runway at the Purdue University airport is crowded. Students are inspecting planes and mechanics are working on maintenance. There's a constant stream of planes taking off and landing. Wesley Major is our pilot. He's been flying for 5 years now.
I have not flown a plane before my accident, and was the unique aspect of the Able Flight program because I didn't have anything to kind of relate it to.
In 2008, Major was in a motorcycle accident and now has paraplegia. During recovery, his mentor, another graduate of Able Flight, introduced him to the program.
During the rehab process, I focused a lot on what I cannot do. I can't play hockey anymore. I can't go up steps. I can't run. I can't. Woe is me, so to speak. And then the Able Flight program kind of did the opposite. It opened the doors to what you're capable of actually doing.
All Able Flight pilots train on a small sport aircraft that is modified for each individual user. For Major, all he has to do is add an additional handle to his controls.
So this is the T handle, and this is what I use to control the rudder, which was normally controlled by a person's feet. T handle goes in super quick, comes out super quick.
The T handle allows Major to do things with his hands that a pilot without disabilities would do with his feet.
Some of it's very simple. We don't redesign anything, but it does get other people thinking, and we've had a couple of engineers start looking at how to do hand controls for a variety of different airplanes.
Purdue aviation professor Bernie Woolley oversees the program and says Able Flight participants are treated just like any other person. They have the same requirements any pilot would need to get certified.
It's a very intensive program. They are going through basically the same thing as a private pilot would here. And most private pilots take about 4 to 6 months, and they've got to do it within 6 weeks.
Over the years, the program has hosted people with paraplegia and quadriplegia, people who are deaf, and even someone with diabetes. Ray Martinio always wanted to fly, but he could never get a certified flight instructor or CFI to take him on as a student. Tinio is deaf, and he finally got his chance to fly when he received a scholarship from Able Flight 2 years ago. He uses several methods to communicate with the air traffic control tower. Woolley says the first time his students fly by themselves is one of the most important parts of the summer. He remembers Tinio's first solo flight.
And everybody's sitting there kind of, and it worked out great.
As a Purdue student, Tinio researches how to make flying more accessible for deaf pilots like himself. Since the program, he's gone on to earn his private pilot certificate and hopes to one day be a professional pilot. And are people surprised to find out he can fly? Tinio and Major are just two of the more than 50 people with disabilities that have graduated from Able Flight at Purdue. The program will welcome its 8th class of students next summer. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Sophia Salabi.
More than 50 people with disabilities have graduated from the program in the 7 years since it was introduced at the university. Woolley is set to retire within the next 2 years, but the program will continue. The university selected Major, who had never considered being able to fly, as the next director of the Able Flight program. Able Flight will welcome its next class of students next summer.